When I started, it's like all love. There's this vlogger who posted 4 million views, but they're making fun of me.
How do you deal with
Haters.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say that. So I love these pickup quotes. So I saw on Snapchat, oh, I found her pretty. Do you eat vegetables? Does she look like a cucumber?
Well, we first met at the club. Everywhere I'm taking pictures at, any club I pull up and like he's there vibing. One of my friends was like, he has a TikTok. And I was like, oh, what? And then so like I checked it out and I was like watching all the pickup lines and I was like, what on the flat? Like what is happening right now? But then like I took like a couple days break from TikTok and then I was like, you know what? Like I kind of miss it. I kind of miss like hearing all the pickup lines. When did it start? I feel like you got to be out there to like just post yourself.
The funny thing is because growing up, you know, when I was young, I don't know, I love these pickup quotes, you know. So I saw on Snapchat, like a girl like, oh, I found her pretty. I forgot what I said. Do you eat vegetables? She was like, what? What do you mean? Because you look like a cucumber. Something like that. And then that's when it started because she said, oh, Rizzler. And I feel like at that moment or at that time, like, you know, the Riz are up, like on Instagram and everywhere. So that's when I started, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this, like pickup lines, everything.
How far ago did you start? Because I've just seen it in the past, last year.
Funny thing is, I really hate TikToks, and I feel like it's for, you know, like younger, younger version of us. And then these kids at our church, they like were dancing. I love to dance, right? I was like, okay, let me do this. I posted a video, and then just like in a few minutes, it's like 400 views, and then it keeps going up and up and up and up. And then I was like, wow.
Was that the first one, or did you post?
Like I was just like
on
dancing.
the first try? That's crazy.
I feel like it's very time, like, you know, I did it at the right time. Because I feel like if I did it right now, I don't think, you know, I'm gonna be like that.
Right.
And then I started posting like me singing. In just 4 days, it reached 100,000 views.
What's like your highest viewed TikTok?
3.4 something million is the pickup line.
Holy crap. He used to make like that one where POV, like you saw me at the mall.
Oh yeah.
Once they started blowing up, people were like, yo, like I actually saw him at the mall though.
I didn't even expect this.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I guess, I don't want to say I'm built for this, but I mean,
I'm built.
you know what I mean? But, because I never really wanted the spotlight. But then, of course, it kind of feels good, especially like in my case, you know, like, so like people would ask to get a photo with me.
Yeah,
But then, because I've never seen myself like famous or like this person.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess everyone knows me, most people. But I've never seen myself like, oh, I'm like this. So like whenever people, you know, come to me like photos, I still don't understand.
In school or like in person, like were you always kind of out there or were you more like quiet or like?
I'm really out there.
Yeah.
But not as out as I am right now. When you were a kid, right? Like you're still shy, you're still, you know, coming out of the cocoon.
Yeah.
So,
Did you ever watch pickup content on YouTube? Is that what some of this is inspired? Cause
sometimes, yeah. But even before that.
I remember when I was like 14, there used to be like these pickup videos on YouTube. And they all got exposed for having like fake actors. But at the time, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is like working. And then it was like prank invasion. There would be these dudes and he's like, okay, like we're gonna play like a quick game with like a quick kiss. And then I'm like, what? Like I can't believe that worked. And then years later, it was like prank invasion exposed. Recently, I think he made out with like his sister or something.
What?
Yeah. And looking back, like it was so fake. Like it was like so.
But you never know that.
But I was like 14, and I was like, what? Like you know.
So you thought it was real.
Totally thought it was real. How much of it is self-aware, right? Because like there's a little bit of it where it's I'm gonna be confident, but there's like a little bit of it where it's like also for the meme too, right?
I mean, people say I'm confident, but in me, it's just like what they call this, a facade that I have to show people that I'm confident. But in real life, like I was actually grateful for TikTok because without TikTok, I'm not gonna be able to talk to these girls because I'm not the type of person who talk to you first. Even like when I was young, people would come to me because, you know, they see me as different. So like they want to be friends with me, you know. I'm always self-aware. But I mean, I guess people perceive it as like I'm confident on social media. You know of them. You've seen of them, but you don't really know them. I try to be confident, but I'm not really that confident.
Right.
So it's just for the show, basically. But yeah, when you saw me, like, I don't know, did you think I was all cocky or he's arrogant or something?
No, I think you were just like a chill guy.
Right? Yeah, thank you so much.
If you could do anything, like what's the dream? I know you said you wanted to get kind of more into TikTok. Like...
Actually, if I'm being honest, I want to be, what do you call this? A Hollywood, like an actor. Or,
oh,
like I want to
okay,
act, yeah. There's actually already an agent who wanna, you know, train me and then send me to US or whatever. But because, you know, I've had, you know, many mistakes in my life. I didn't prioritize getting my citizenship. I'm still permanent resident.
Right.
For example, you're the agent, right? You want me to send to US. I'm not gonna be able to go there. That's what I really want. Before, because my dad is a pastor, so I want to be a pastor. And then he has siblings, this like lawyer, doctors. I want to be lawyer and doctor at some point. So I'm not before, you know, like when you were a kid, right? Like you're not your own person. But as you're growing up, I feel like you're getting to know who you are, what you really like. So
No,
yeah.
100%. When I was a kid, I wanted to like be an engineer. Like I like Legos and stuff, so I was like, oh, like I want to build things. I didn't even realize until I got to high school that engineering, like, it's really a lot of like calculations and a lot of like math. And then you do kind of get into like this bubble of what your parents do. I'm just like, everybody works a 9-to-5 job. Like everybody just has like off. I remember when I was 18 and I worked at the Pint, somebody asked me like, oh, do you live with your parents or whatever? And I was like, yeah, like of course I live with my parents. Like I'm 18.
Of course, Asians.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, like, you know, like, I moved out at 16 or whatever. And I was like, oh shit. Like,
Oh, you just moved back.
no, like the guy I was talking to, he was like, I moved out at 16, and I was like, oh, whoa, like, there's so many differences, right?
True.
And then I started talking to like the DJs at the clubs or whatever, and they're like, no, like I make a full-time living from DJing, and
or him?
No, like the DJs, yeah. There's more out there than just like a 9-to-5, like being an accountant or like being an engineer.
I know.
And then I went to Nate for accounting for like 2 years. Like it was just the thing to do. It's like you graduate high school, you got to go to college. Like at the time, I wasn't that great at photography. I was making a little bit of money here and there, but it was like once every 3 months. So like I was only making like $300 a year from that.
But I feel like if it's something that you really love, I don't think money is irrelevant that much. I mean, of course, we need money, but...
Well, it was one of those things where it's like, you know, your parents are like, you got to do something, right? And I was like, fair enough, like, until I can make this my living, like, I can't.
Especially in our culture, you know, like Asians.
1000%. It's like, it's all about... It's all about stability. That's also why low-key, like, with, like, the Hollywood stuff or, like, whatever, I think a lot of it is, like, internal, like, culturally.
Exactly.
Because they value stability so much. And acting and entertainment, like music, like all these industries are high risk. When you have a culture that values security, there's advantages to that. The average Asian income is like pretty good in the United States, at least between like the top like 4 ethnicities. Like Asians currently have like highest median household income, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But that also comes with downsides, and it's like when you value stability to that extent, like you're not going to be as dominant in like the high risk industries, right? And I think a lot of that.
But I mean, I guess it depends on how you like your perspective is, right? How you look at things.
Yeah.
But I'm actually, speaking of, you know, Asians, I'm actually happy because we're getting noticed, you know. Like I feel like 2 decades ago, it's like just all white. There's no, you know what I mean, like, or I mean 1980s, 1970s, it's all just white. But now there's like Asians, black, it's getting mixed. But now I feel like TikTok is the new YouTube, or, you know.
TikTok is the new YouTube. It's ironic because like we're here because like you have a TikTok and everything.
Do you have TikTok?
I do have a TikTok, but I'm rarely on it. I'm mostly on YouTube. Everybody says I need to get on TikTok, but I struggle with the short form stuff. Like I don't know how to make short form. Like my brain just...
Like in the long term, it's all good, yeah.
My brain has a hard time operating that way, and everybody's like, make short form. Like it's all about TikTok, and like I probably agree, but like I don't have it in me.
But I mean, I feel like because every social media is not for everyone, you know. Like for example, YouTube may not be for me, but TikTok is. You know, maybe YouTube is for you, and TikTok might not be. So it is what it is, bro.
Okay, how do you deal with
haters?
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say that. So good.
The comments are always like half and half.
I know.
Right?
I feel like it's actually gotten better. When I started, like there's so many. I mean, no. When I started, it's like all love, and then something happened. There's like, I feel like the Filipinos infiltrated. You know, in the Philippine culture. I don't know. They tend to judge easily. That's why I really love in Canada, especially like here the culture is what they call it's like multicultural, right? So they're more accepting. So apparently there's this vlogger in the Philippines. At that time he had like, I don't know, 3.4 subscribers on YouTube. And then he posted me there. Friend or my, what they call it, like classmate way back in elementary. He posted it like, hey Chislev, you're famous already. I was like, what? Yeah. Apparently I was on the video, but they're making fun of me. So that video, like it got 4 million views in just 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. Like 1 million in just 10 hours, and then the next day, whoa, it's already 4 million.
Yeah.
But you know, like hate. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Yeah.
So the more they talk about you, it just makes my name spread to everyone. 2 years ago, we went to Vancouver. Last year, I was in Toronto, and then I was so amazed. I was like I'm speechless because I was just walking downtown, like, hey, we know you from TikTok. I was like, what? It's a different city.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been to Vancouver. I've never been to Toronto.
Yeah.
But there's still people like, you know, they still know me. Now I don't deal with hate anymore. Like, you know, haters.
Right.
They're gonna talk about you either way. So might
Yeah.
as well, you know, just live your life.
Do you check comments or no? You just don't?
Before,
Look.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
you
what
always,
makes me.
refresh it, yeah.
Exactly. Even my parents told me like, you're doing something right, or maybe not right, but you're doing something they have to talk about. Because I don't know if you watch Gossip Girl. I just remember this. One of the characters there, he said, "You're a nobody until you're talked about," which is really true for me. Because I was like a nobody before. Like, okay, they're gonna look at me. Oh, you're small or whatever. But now they look at me and then, yo, you're the TikTok guy. Yo, I know you. So I was like, wow, thank you. It's crazy.
Yeah, nothing's embarrassing if you get enough views for it, right?
Exactly.
Because people are like, oh, well, like, I don't like it, but like, it's working for some people.
Exactly, yeah.
But when you're starting out, like, I feel like it's so much more brutal because it's like, not that many people are even looking at it. Even like Emma Chamberlain, you know, like Chamberlain, right? A lot of people are like, I don't like her. I think she has like 11 mil right now or something like that. Like, she's so big that people are just like, oh, like, she's not my thing, but like, clearly, like, people like her, so like, whatever.
They don't like her, and now look at her. She's like got 11. I don't know if you've seen them on Instagram. They're like a group of guys, like model guys, and then they're like, hey, POV. So it just gave me an idea. Oh, what if I do it? I mean, some people think it's cringe, but for me, I just want to do it for fun.
Right.
But then I didn't really think it's gonna pop off, you know, like.
Right.
Because there's this one time I went to Starbucks in the mall, and they were like, yo, I saw you on the Instagram.
I think it was on like Urbe Edmonton. I think that one was at like 370K. Some dude just found you and was like, yo, I found him.
I went to Sober Up, I think, a week after that, and then like the secret is, yo, you're Instagram famous now. I was like, you know, I would never. I mean, I don't want to say I would never see myself because I feel like I'm starting to embrace being famous, but I always keep my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
To not let it get over my head, because I feel like what you think you can be. You know what I mean? Like, there's a saying about that. Here's the thing, everyone can post anything, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, would people bite it?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm not like being arrogant or being bragging. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, me basically like my personality and like my height and something, I feel like there's something in it that catches people attention. So
have you always just had the confidence with the height thing and everything, or like when you were younger was it harder, or were you just always like, this is just me?
Well, I try to remember, because in myself I'm not confident. You know that? Have you had that feeling like, you know, like, okay, I'm not confident, but then on outlook perspective, when people see you, you're confident. So I guess I feel like I've just been like that.
Right.
But I try to be confident because, just like I said, you know.
Yeah. You gotta at least act it.
Exactly. And then actually there's this couple, like they asked to get a photo with me at one time, a birthday. I asked the boyfriend, like, hey, does your girlfriend play soccer? Yeah. And then apparently she does. And then she was like, how did you know? I was like, oh no, because I just look like a keeper. And then they were like, oh. So funny. It's actually on my lab too. Like, I'm teaching how people, like, I feel like I'm a teacher now, because sometimes I teach people how to read. You have to make it unexpected. Yeah. Because if I keep throwing pickup lines, then they're gonna expect it. So I've learned that from work. I was working at the rec room. Yeah. I just, you know, hey bro, hey, and then I'm just gonna throw pickup lines from left and right. Right. Until like they get bored of it. So I gotta change it, you know. But what made you start photography? It was actually when I was in junior high, we had a science class, and it was like the reproduction unit. We all had to make a little video about like the cycle of life. And then one of my friends, at the time, like he came up with a script. It was called like Landy's reproduction story. We all acted in it, and like it was such a fun time, right? And I also watched so much YouTube at the time, and then so I was like, okay, like I want to make like these like sketches on YouTube. So I was like, I want like a camera. And my dad was like, what the hell? Like, you don't know anything about... Is your dad a photographer or no? No, but like he did buy a camera back in the film days. So expensive. Like I remember him saying it was like a month's salary at that time. You had to be like decently well off for it. But he was like, my first job ever, like I saved up my whole paycheck to like buy that camera. He never got into it. Like it was just pictures for memories. Well, like it runs in the blood, eh? I don't know. I learned everything from YouTube. It used to be so bad. Like I remember I had like Instagram, and I would just like crank the vignette to 100%. But because I didn't really care about it too much, and I was just having fun with it, I didn't really care what other people thought, because I was like, whatever, like I'm just having fun with this. Then in high school, I got more into taking pictures of like people. How was that?
It was really cool. That's kind of what I want this YouTube thing to go back to. I'm really bringing it full circle because in high school, it wasn't professional. It was just friends hanging out. Someone's like, hey, like I need some new pictures for my Instagram. It was really just people hanging out. That's when it was like really fun. By the end of high school, I knew I wanted to do something creative.
That relates to photography or
yeah, that relates
in
to
general?
Photography or like YouTube or video, just like in like the visual realm, something to do with cameras. I really wasn't very good at it. And so, especially with my parents and stuff, it was like, you can't make a living from that, you know, like. So I was like, hey, I went to accounting, but while I was at accounting, I was not a good student because I was just learning about photography like 24/7. So my grades were like horrible, but like I was getting better at pictures. And then I started doing nightclub pictures at the Pint actually. Yeah, and then
was that the first place you started?
It was for nightclubs. It was like my first consistent.
At the Pint, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember like my first main time was actually at my high school dance. I met this guy, the DJ that DJ'd at my high school dance. I didn't want to buy tickets because I was literally saving up to buy a camera at that time. So my friend was in the yearbook club, and he was like, "I'll get you in. Just like take pictures that like we could use in the yearbook." And then I'll just like get you in. And so I was taking pictures there, and the guy was like, hey, the DJ was like, hey, like give me your phone number, like I might need somebody. It's not like he was DJing K-Days that year. I went out, I was 18, so like I did everything for free and whatnot, but like it was like a crazy time because like Ice Cube was there and like
K-Days or
at K-Days.
In Edmonton?
Yeah, this was back in like 2018, 2019, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then so like I got to like be backstage for that. He was the first guy that really made me realize that you could make a living from other stuff. So I got there so we could all go in one car.
Yeah.
And this guy's house was larger than my parents' house. This guy had the saltwater tap. He had like everything. He actually has a lot of pictures with like old school rappers. Because rap wasn't that big back then. So a lot of rappers booked like small shows back then, and he would throw like these hip hop parties. I saw his house and I was like, okay, like there's money to be made here. Like my parents' whole thing about like you can't make money from it. Like not everybody can, but I was like, this guy could. Like there's got to be something else. So that kind of like really sparked something in my brain.
If they can, then so can you, right?
Exactly. The next part was just being like, how do I actually make money from it? I remember when I first started working nightclubs, my mom was like, hey, like, she's like, you know, like taking pictures of like strippers is like dangerous. And I was like, mom, like I was like, they're not strippers. Like they're just like college kids going to a bar to like have fun, right? But like, she was like, oh, but like, I'm just letting you know. Like she didn't believe me, you know what I mean?
Wait, I feel like you mistaken it like the strip club into nightclub.
Yeah.
Right?
But for her, it's almost
the same thing.
For her, it was almost the same thing.
Oh, I see.
Like she didn't understand the difference until like until years later.
True. How are they now to you?
They're cool now. It's taken a long time, and also like I'm making a full-time living from it now.
Oh, nice.
So they've definitely come around to it. There was a phase when I was like, it was like right after I dropped out, I was still working at Panago Pizza, and they're like every day they're like, it's not gonna fucking work, it's not gonna work, like you know what I mean? And then I was like, nah, like it's gonna work.
Parents are your number one critics.
Yeah, and then I went to Calgary for real estate photos, and I came back here, and they were still like kind of unsure because like they're like, it didn't work out in Calgary. But when I came back here, I was like, I'm not gonna, like I'm moving in to my friend's place or whatever. Yeah. And they were like, oh, well, like you could have moved back here or whatever. But like for me, it was like I want the respect of like being independent.
True.
Or what, and like they still won't admit it. But like after that, they were like, okay, like he can like
do whatever he wants.
He can sustain himself. Like he can survive.
Because some people, like they're afraid to fail, so they're not just gonna shoot their shot. They're just not gonna try. But in that point, in that sense, you already failed because you haven't even tried.